Well, good afternoon and welcome to the January 27th session of the Allen County Public Library Board of Library Trustees. May we have a roll call?
Certainly. Jim?
Present.
Ben?
Present.
Martin?
I'm here.
Kent?
Present.
Paul? Sharon? And myself present.
Thank
So
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Before we begin, two items. One, if there's anyone from the public that wishes to speak, behind me is a sign-up sheet. Please follow the instructions, name, address, and limit your comments to 3 to 4 minutes or so. And secondly, let us observe before the meeting begins a moment of silence in memory of a former trustee, Alan McMahon. Alan served two four-year terms, 16 years times 2, first as a representative of the City of Fort Wayne school system, and second as the commissioner's appointee. He will be missed. He was a force that we'll hardly see again, a very dedicated man. So if we might observe a moment of silence. May his memory be as a blessing. I'll entertain a motion now to adapt the agenda.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. It passes. Let's move now to item 3, approval of the minutes. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes as noted on our agenda from small a through small f?
This is Marty, so moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. Thank you. It passes. Our financial report for December, David. Are you Santa Claus or the Grinch?
Oh, I'm always the Grinch, you know, just ask any employee when they're asking for money, you know? No, thanks, Ben. We're, in your packet are the reports, of course. They've all been modified now with the transfers that were done in the, meeting last month. And so none of the lines really are in trouble or showing anything because it's the last one of the year. The only one that went over was vehicle fuel by $1,000 or so, but that's because of the spike in prices, of course. Spending, was again, lower because of the COVID impact. We weren't doing as much with the programming or the purchasing. So we are in the process of closing the year out. The reports you have for December are preliminary. We still have entries going on right now. But from a spending standpoint, they're pretty accurate at this point. There'll only be a few changes. There's a couple of things I'll talk about, but they're coming up later, 2 items. One is the Board of Finance report, which is the annual report of our investments, and that is not much to report there. As Bill Royce from the county reported, we're still suffering from very low interest rates. So our yield last year was like 0.565. I didn't think it could get any worse, but it was 0.231 this year. So, but we keep everything we can invested. We're still getting the best rates at this point in the more liquid money market accounts than opposed to the CDs and rates like that, as you may recall. And I'll go into that when we actually have that, item up for passage. And then the other one is the resolution on the encumbrances. This is the annual item where we carry over any outstanding contracts and purchase orders at the end of the year.
Okay, we'll address those at the
Yeah, that'll be a
appropriate
separate
time.
issue also down there. So,
Any question on David's financial report? If not, can we have a motion to accept as presented?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. Let's move on to the approval of claims.
I have today's claims. There's some, here, Gloria, I'll hand it to you there. Few large ones here. One is the, starting the year, the first transfer of funds into the self-insurance fund for the employer contribution. Quite a few expensive library material purchases, mainly in the the electronic items. We have Overdrive and some of the other subscriptions that come due. And then there's one of the first large payments for the work going on in the Early Learning Center. Those of you who have been on the foundation board know that the Early Learning Center in the children's area is getting a remodel, and the work is starting in there, and it's going to be quite impressive. So one of the claims is in there.
Thank you. Any questions on the claims? All right, a motion that we accept the claims as distributed,
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. That passes. So David, now we're talking about a resolution 2022-1 to carry forward certain encumbrances to this current year.
Yes, thanks, Ben. And as I just mentioned, this is the annual resolution. We're allowed to carry forward any contracts or commitments that we had at the end of the year so that they are appropriated in the following year. As you know, we have our 2022 budget, which is an appropriation that we passed back in October. But in order to pay for these 2021 expenses where they were committed from, we have to do this resolution to carry over those POs. As my narrative that I attached to it indicates, the vast majority of these are for library, in the library general fund, and it's for materials, library materials coming over. In fact, in the gift fund, it's also there because we have, again, those of you who know the foundation part, the NEH fund and the Logan materials are appropriated by the foundation. We purchase them through the library process and then are reimbursed by the foundation. So there's, let's see, how much did I say in there? 485,000 of the 687,000 that's total is for library material.
Good.
Also outstanding are things like the remaining of the Bostwick contract for the facility master plan, other HVAC projects that are finishing up. So again, it's 687,000 is the total, 468,000 is in the general fund, 219,000 in the gift fund.
Thank you.
So,
Can we have a motion to accept Resolution 2022-1?
So moved.
Thank you, Gloria. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jim. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye then.
Aye.
And opposed by nay? Okay.
this is one of those ones where all the board members have to sign, so I'll bring it around here for signature.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7, committee reports. Marty? Capital-
Okay, thank you, Ben. All right, as everybody on the board, and hopefully the public is aware, and everyone watching, we are moving forward with the public input on our facilities master plan. Just a reminder, it was presented at a special board meeting to us on January 5. Kent did a wonderful job with Susan of leading a live stream public event. I thought went really well on January the 10th as well. That is all, hopefully, I believe, available on our website, europeacpl.org, right? And so I really encourage everybody in the public who's interested in that to watch it before we come in, maybe perhaps even before they do the survey and do the, and come to our open houses. But in any event, we do ask, we want people to get out there and do the survey. I'll look to Susan, how many survey results do we have?
The last I checked this morning, it was around 615.
Okay, all right. It's a fair number, but we want more. We really want as many people as we can that have input. If you've talked to one of us, that's great, but please go to the survey and really put it out there so we can look at the community and their input. And also, we have all of our open houses still coming up, except we had the Georgetown one on Monday, which went well. I guess Kim or Susan, if you can tell us when are the next ones coming up, so I Is that on the website, obviously, as well?
It is, the next one is this coming Monday night at a Boyd at 6 PM.
Okay.
And I did want to say on the youracpl.org Facility Master Plan website, we have the January 5th board meeting video up. We will have the live stream video up soon. We had a technical issue with it that we are trying to fix as soon as possible, but that board meeting is already on there.
All right, great. And just for the public watching this who want to see it, the board meeting had essentially the same deck, as they call it, to look at and review as the live stream event. So please, if you want to go look at it, go look at that now. At this point, we still hope to have a final recommendation to the board as a whole by April the 7th. So, but right now is definitely the public input and trying to learn from our community phase. That's my report.
Any questions?
How many more open houses are there?
4.
Four. Can you just send out those dates and times? You may have already done that, but
I'll do it.
if
We will.
if you don't mind
Right.
sending.
Youracpl.org.
Okay.
They're all on there
I'll
too.
go there.
Yep, they're all on there too.
They're all in there too.
We'll get it to you. I will say, Jim and I were both at the one, and basically, we didn't speak, we just wanted to hear from the community. And I do plan on being, I'm not sure at all of them, but at most of them, so.
Good. Thank you for that report. Kent, is there any truth to the rumor that you'll be able to moderate on call as needed?
I'll be happy to help in whatever capacity I need to.
I think you have a future with Netflix. Okay, how about an update on our OSHA emergency temporary standard that the Supreme Court decided to address?
For a variety of reasons, we live in interesting times, but I'm only here to talk about one of those reasons. As you know, November of last year, OSHA implemented a potential vaccine mandate. That got stayed, and then on January 6th, in anticipation that that May stay was lifted by one of the other courts, the Sixth Circuit, management was rightfully concerned about being prepared to implement the plan. We had communicated the intention of management to talk to its employees about the plan it was going to implement, and then a week after that communication, on January 13th, the Supreme Court struck down that plan, so there is no OSHA mandate for vaccinations for large employers. OSHA earlier this week withdrew its emergency temporary standard, and so the emergency temporary standard will not come back into play from OSHA. The only question is whether OSHA will continue to try to implement this at some point in the future as a permanent plan. We don't know, and we'll just have to continue to monitor that. But right now, any emergency temporary standard by OSHA will not take effect, and that was the only vaccine mandate that would have implicated the library.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, Susan, you're up.
Thank you, Ben. So since we were last together, we had the triumphant opening of our Roland Center for Lincoln Research. It is open to the public now, 7 days a week. It has been very warmly received. People are just wowed by it. And I want to thank Kurt and the Lincoln librarians and his team for all of the work they have put into creating just this incredible experience for our community. We've already had some school groups come in, and they have been just blown away. We also, I saw Kurt speak at our downtown Rotary Club this week on the Roland Center, and as we were walking out, he was stopped and told that it was the best Rotary Club presentation that person had ever heard. And as somebody who has previously spoke to Rotary herself, I would agree he did a better job than me. He did just a remarkable job, and we're just so happy that this project has come into fruition in a pandemic. And you can see some other items that I included on my written report. Something that didn't quite make the time cut is that this Saturday is Winterval, which is a collaboration with Fort Wayne Parks and Rec. And if you are out on our plaza at noon, bundle up because there will be a live ice sculpture carved right in front of us. And I also wanted to share that yesterday we had Ellen Cutter here at our senior staff meeting from Greater Fort Wayne, Inc., and she spoke to our senior staff about the Allen County Together plan developed by Greater Fort Wayne, Inc., and it was an excellent presentation, and it really had a lot of parallels and commonalities with our facility plan and our goals for the library. A lot of things intersect, and there's quite a potential for partnerships and collaboration, so that was a very enlightening presentation to hear. I also wanted to share that we continue to work on some modified service responses due to being in the red. I am really proud that despite being in code red and having some significant staffing shortages, we are continuing to offer 7-day-a-week library service. In January alone, we have had 52 employees out for some COVID-related reason. They either tested positive, they were quarantining, or they were experiencing symptoms and waiting for test results to come back. So that has had an impact. We are not alone. We are hearing a lot about other agencies in town who are also grappling with these challenges. So we are not alone in dealing with these challenges. We are hoping that we have seen the worst of it. It is something that we are continuing to monitor, and we just appreciate the public's patience with us.
That's it.
That's it.
Good report.
Thank you.
Any questions on the report?
I did have just a couple of things. One, just again, thank you to everyone for the Roland Center. I know it was delayed in ways we didn't want it delayed, but I do think it's wonderful. I've been stopped in twice myself just to enjoy it, and it's really good. A nice place, a nice oasis. I haven't been there while school kids were there. I'm sure it's a little more busy, but it is really enjoyable. And Susan, I just wanted to touch base because we have here the collection management report, i.e. the weeding report, and I just wanted to point out, and just make sure the board is aware and make sure I'm right, that this is still a collaborative effort of our whole staff to, under the standards we've set, to go through and make sure that we're doing it right.
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's still, so the entire leadership and then also the branch managers and the rest all still have input and are working.
Oh,
on this
absolutely,
together.
yes.
Okay.
This is librarian-driven, absolutely.
Okay.
And as I recall, we're almost at a zero-sum game, which is good.
Yeah.
More, okay. Any other comments? How about any new business? It's going to be a quick meeting. How about the public? Is the public here? Public's missing.
Looks pretty empty, yeah.
All right, well then I'll entertain a motion, we adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Jim, and a second. All
Second.
those in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Now let's move into the meat of today's meeting.
The exciting
The-
part.
The Board of Library Trustees meeting as a Board of Finance. And so, Gloria, can we have a roll call?
Certainly. Ben,
Present.
Sharon, Kent,
Present.
Martin,
I'm here.
Paul,
Present.
Jim,
Present.
and myself, present.
Thank you. A motion, please, to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It passes. David, you're back on camera.
That's right. Well, again, thank you, Ben, and again, this is a annual requirement of the Board of Finance to review where our funds are invested, and it's really very simple. Again, as you may recall from past reports, we are very limited on what we may invest any money, and it's not like the foundation where there might be equities and bonds and things like that. We basically have to invest in anything that has the full faith and credit of the United States, whether it's T-bills, bonds, et cetera.
So you're telling us no crypto is what you're saying?
Yeah, cryptocurrency would not fit in this category. So, but, so the money in one hand is always safe. We're not going to lose anything, but you're not going to get rich off of it either. As you can see from some of the graphs and the reports, we're still earning, a 0.38% on the Lake City account and 0.1 on the Star deposits. But it's better than we could get on, I attached in there a report on the CDs. I mean, we'd have to go out 24 to 36 months to get a similar rate. And you're tying up your liquidity at that point. So it's unfortunate, but, I talked with, you heard the report from the county treasurer, Bill Royce, the same thing's going on with them. There just isn't a whole lot of investment earnings coming back, you make the best that you can. But with the Fed raising rates, this year should be better for us, and we're keeping, a hopeful watch on that. We usually will go out and check rates frequently through the year, but they've remained stable at these amounts. So we keep everything we can in an invested state, and I think the one graph shows it's around 96 to 97% is always invested. The only thing we need not invested is the liquidity for cash flow, and between Gene and I and all, we tend to have that pretty well down to when to transfer funds. A yield, unfortunately, it was about 0.231 total, so again, yielded about, what did I say, about 90,000 in interest, so it's better than nothing, but, it's safe.
Questions?
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
On the balances that you're carrying in each of the two institutions, is there a reason why we wouldn't put more from the one into the higher interest rate?
Yeah,
Well, of course, the one at Star is our operating fund. That is paying the things. So
Cash flow perspective has to be higher?
exactly, it's with cash flow. Plus, the balance you're looking at there is the December 31st balance. We just got the tax settlement on that. And so, that will be moved, a little bit more as the time, but we have to keep that one liquid because of the cash flow. So,
I'm still confused. These are both liquid accounts.
yes, the Star one is much easier to transfer from our money market fund to the operating to respond to the needs of the cash. Lake City, you would have to go through a withdrawal and placement. We can withdraw it, but we're limited on the number we can make.
I see,
Yeah. That's why they're paying a higher rate.
I see. Okay.
Plus activity for higher rate. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions? Okay, we adapted the agenda. We accept a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
And a second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Please.
Aye.
Opposed by nay? Okay.
All right, thank you. Hopefully there'll be better news next year.
I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn the Board of Finance meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Jim.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay? And that closes our two public sessions. Take a 2-minute break and go into executive session.